Hello everyone and welcome to another Miss Jody's Musical Minutes. I'm your host, Miss Jody. In the past episodes we have covered all the very plain, basic parts of music. We covered the notes and the rhythms and the time signatures and the key signatures. And what this gives us is the basic frame and the plain white canvas on which we're gonna put our masterpiece of music. But it's not gonna be very exciting until we add the color to it, right? Do you remember when you watch The Wizard of Oz and you see Dorothy and her house has already landed and she and Toto are about to open that door, and up till now the movie has been in black and white and kind of sepia, and then when she opens that door and all these vibrant colors just come popping at you, it's so exciting, it's breathtaking. And it doesn't matter how many thousands of times I've watched that movie, that moment is still so huge and it has such a big impact. Because as soon as you see those colors, it just brings everything to life. Well, in music, it's the same way. If all we did was play the black and white notes on the page, it wouldn't be worth listening to. So we add our colors, and that starts with what we call dynamics. Dynamics refers to the volume at which we play our notes. Now, we can play the notes loud, we can play them soft, we can play them in the middle, but it's way more than that. If all I told you was, okay, you're gonna paint a masterpiece and you got Roy G. Biv to work with, that's it? I just have like the 7 basic colors? You'd be thinking in your head, no, there's like thousands of shades and hues of all those different colors. Well, in music, it's the same way. We don't just play it loud or soft or in the middle. That would just be ridiculous. We have thousands of different shades of colors. Okay, Bernie, listen, we gotta paint this door. We gotta get it painted, okay? So you gotta help me pick a color, all right? Help me pick a color. Do you think it should be this one? No, that has too much yellow in it. I want it to be an off-white. What about this one? No, that's got like green in it, doesn't it? Doesn't it have like green in it? What about this one? I think it's got some blue. What about this one? I know you want this one because it says bone white, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, I don't want to go with that one. Then there's eggshell and ecru and there's off-white and porcelain. So many different shades. How am I ever supposed to decide? So in music, we have some basic guidelines and some common symbols that we use to give us the general indication of the expected volume. This is what the composer is expecting us to play it as to a volume. We start with 2 basic symbols. One is the letter F. This stands for forte, and it means loud. The other letter that we start with is the letter P, which stands for piano, and it means to play soft. From there, we can go to symbols that are in between by adding the letter M. M stands for mezzo, or in the middle. So if we add an M in front of the F, it's called mezzo forte, or medium loud. And if we add an M before the P, it would be mezzo piano, kind of medium soft. Now going the opposite direction, if we decide to double up the letters and have maybe, let's say, a double F, that stands for fortissimo, very loud. And if we have a double P, that stands for pianissimo, really soft. I have even come across having a triple F or a quadruple F, or a triple P or quadruple P. Now let me tell you something. If you see a composer has written 5 or more Fs, you better just figure on playing so loud that you're peeling paint off the walls. And if by chance you see something written that's 5 letter Ps or more, figure on don't even blow in your instrument. You'll probably be too loud anyhow. Just kind of suck in the air and maybe you'll be quiet enough. I'm just kidding, but they have done those kind of dynamics. We also have gradual changes to our dynamics. In colors, we have what's called ombre. I just really like saying that word. I feel like I should go get my sombrero from one of the previous episodes and put it on when I say ombre. I just think it's a cool word. Ombre means that it's a slow, gradual fade from being bold color to a lighter tone, or from going from a lighter tone to a bolder tone of color. And in music, we have ombre things to do. We don't call it ombre, but we call it a crescendo or a decrescendo. Now, in our music, when we see that, it shows up as an abbreviation to the word crescendo with just the letters C-R-E-S-C. And we know that that means we should be gradually getting louder. Sometimes it even has dots to show how long we have to go from, let's say, piano to forte. Same with the decrescendo, but we also have another word that we can use to get softer, and that's called diminuendo. Diminuendo would be abbreviated D-I-M in our music, and the same applies. It would show us how long, how many notes we have to get from loud to soft. Now we also have some symbols that represent the crescendo and diminuendo, and they are elongated greater than or less than signs like you've seen in math. So they look kind of like this, and they would elongate those underneath the notes that we have to get louder or softer to get to that final dynamics. Here's some examples of those. Sometimes in music, we also have an abrupt change. That might be indicated with something called a Sforzando or a Forte piano, where we might hit a note really hard all of a sudden and then drop down really quiet. It's a great effect and it's used in music all the time. So listen for that sometime. This is what that looks like. Throughout pieces of music, our dynamics are constantly changing. There might be sections of the music where the whole orchestra is playing quiet. There might be sections of the music where the whole orchestra is playing very loudly. But also, we have variations within the orchestra at different places in our music. When I have the melody, my dynamic level might be higher than the person sitting next to me who doesn't have the melody, because we want to hear that melody a little bit louder than the accompanying notes. And then after a while, my volume might go down because the melody went to someone else and their volume might go up. This is something that we use our conductor for all the time. He gets to stand there and listen to our music and let us know who needs to be a little bit louder or who needs to be a little more quiet when they're playing. This is a very delicate balance so that the music comes out just the way the composer has asked for it. So, just like when we pick out paint for different rooms, a color could look different depending on where you're putting that color. I never thought I'd be shooting a video in my bathroom, but here we are in my bathroom. I wanted to show you that I painted my bathroom a blue color, like a colonial blue color, but I also painted my dining room the exact same shade. And what's interesting is when I come in my bathroom, the blue looks different than the blue that's in the dining room, simply because the dining room has a window and the bathroom does not, and the lighting is a little bit different. So you see, we could have the same color, literally the exact same can of paint, and the color will look two different ways. Well, what does that have to do with music, Jody? Well, when a musician gets their piece of music and we read the dynamics, that's only a guideline for us to know what to expect when we are trying to get the volume right. Like I said previously, the conductor has a lot to do with relaying to us how loud or how soft we should be playing at various places. But in addition to that, it depends on where we are playing. What is our surrounding space like? We might be on a stage where everything is really dead and the sound has trouble getting to the audience. So where the piece might call for us to play piano, the conductor might say to us, look, they can't hear you if you're playing piano. You've got to start at mezzo forte and get louder from there. So we have to base our playing of our dynamics on what our surroundings are and what our messages are from our conductor. He would also have a big say in our volume as we're playing the actual concert. Because, you know, you get musicians, they're all excited and we're all ramped up and we're in the moment, and sometimes we might get too excited and play too loud at a certain place or too quiet at a certain place. Maybe we're nervous about playing that particular passage, and so the conductor at that moment has to tell us, I'm not hearing the balance I need to. And that's where you see one of his hands, as we've talked about in a previous video, one of his hands is constantly keeping that pattern for the beat. The other hand is doing all those color shades. It tells us if we need to back off or if we need to play more and get louder or get softer. This hand shows us the colors that we need to create in our music. So when we talk about dynamics in music, it's the color that we're putting into our notes that makes a huge difference in conveying the message of what the music is all about. And as many colors as I have right here to pick from to paint my walls, I have just as many dynamics to choose from when it comes to performing music. Tune in next time for another Miss Jody's Music